Guys, this is East Order, Eastern Cat Ins and Out. Welcome back to Let's Talk. This time the topic is E2 of Kantai Collection's Winter 2016 events. So, we're gonna go through the same talking points as last time, and we'll work through the dino strategies that we'll be going through them. As a reminder, no gameplay, we're just talking so that we can work out what you should probably be looking at if you want to succeed. So we're gonna move down and we're going to look at enemy fleets again, because that's the general important bit when you think about what you're going to build. So, the first fact, we're going to look at the boss. The boss is a... where is it? Here we go. The boss is an installation type. It's a supply depot, apparently, which basically means you will be needing Type 3 shells, and also, if you have it, the WG-42 or something like that, the rocket launcher thing that U-511 comes with. And also, you'll notice that, look at that, PTMs are back. Well, screw these guys, but seriously, the thing about your fleet this time is you have to get a good balance of Type 3 shell ships, which is heavy cruisers and battleships. A bit of air power if you can fit it in, depending on how you want to do this, and you'll need some small ships to clear out the PTMs. So there's a couple other nodes that they're kind of new. There are now just straight up nodes with the airfield princess here. The actual battle itself is a single airstrike from I guess it's from both sides. Your side really only launches an anti-air attack, and you get a win grade based on how much damage gets bombed on your face. If you don't take damage at all, it's an S perfect victory. And they basically just did a cock block you, waste a bit of fuel, but you don't use ammo when you fight them. It's the same as subs. You don't use up any ammo. So that's another thing. I think that's it for enemy fleet. So we're going to look at how you should build your fleet. So here's the map. Basically, there's simple branching rules for this. If you're going heavy, you'll end up in the bottom side. If you're going light, you'll end up on the top side. So heavy is if you have something along the lines of 2 or more battleships, I believe. Yeah, like if you have battleships straight up, you'll end up on the bottom side along with carriers. If you do not have them and you don't line up too many heavy cruisers together, you'll end up on the top side. So the main difference is top side, the enemies are weaker, the bottom side, the enemies are stronger. Pretty simple, and also the top side has no air power, except for the couple of airfield princesses that are in the map. So, your fleet should be focused on how many Type 3 shells and how many destroyer light cruisers you want to blow up the enemy units. Remember that you're taking out a land base, which means it really sucks if you have too many destroyers and you can't hurt it. But generally they're the most reliable when it comes to killing PTMs. Light cruisers, I don't know, they work, I guess. I haven't had too much experience. I use a single light cruiser with small guns. I don't know if that's the main reason why my light cruiser does well. But your top side, if you're going around the top, you have no air power apart from a single aviation cruiser. Remember that you'll be using double guns and a Type 3 shell, so you will be running that single plane only. If you run 2 of the aviation cruisers or the heavy cruisers together, I believe you go to the bot side. I haven't tested that yet, and I don't intend to, so maybe someone else can tell you about that. But anyways, if you go around the bottom side instead, then you'll be taking a heavy fleet through, let's see, where is it? Through the bottom. You can see that it's a lot shorter. You'll have fuel by the time you get to the boss. If you go around the top side, I think, unless you have all the historic ships, which is Kasumi, Oyodo, Ashigara, Kirishimo, and Asashimo, you will run out of fuel. So you'll get to the boss, you can't dodge, but 4 of the nodes that you fight at, you don't use ammo, so you will have firepower, basically. Go around the bottom, you will definitely have enough of both, I think. Even if you get sidetracked to D, you'll still have enough. On that node, D node is a single airfield, there's a double airfield princess. They're just there literally to waste your resources because you get sidetracked there. There's absolutely no point getting there, even though if you go super heavy, you'll end up there. According to some of the information collected, you'd require, if you put in more than 2 of battleships and standard carriers, that's not including light carriers, you'll end up on D, but I only used 2 armored carriers and I ended up on D, so I'm not too sure how that works. Someone might need to find more information on that. But otherwise, we're gonna talk about equipment detail now. So, to start off, you will be doing night battles this time for the boss because it is just a regular land base. You can night battle. It's not a submarine that's gonna dodge everything, no matter how you try to shoot at it. So you'll be probably bringing some night battle gear, preferably the searchlight, which is, I believe, more or less guaranteed to activate. I don't know about the maths about that, but and then you also want your Type 3 shells, obviously, and you also want some ships with small guns. And if you're going around the top side, anti-air cannon. If you're going around the bottom side, don't bother the AP shells. You don't really need them, because if you're trying to kill everything on the way to the boss, I don't know why, you just need to survive them. The boss needs Type 3 shells, so you don't need the AP shells. And you'll probably still want to bring destroyers if you want to go through the PT imps easily. Oh, and you'll need the 2 destroyers you want to avoid D node going around the bottom. So for your composition, basically, for the top side, there's a couple of recommended ones here somewhere. Yeah, so they're talking about the Regal Historic ships. That sends you on a very specific route. Otherwise, it's generally recommended that you take 3 destroyers, 1 light cruiser, a heavy cruiser, and an aviation cruiser around the top side. You don't need a torpedo cruiser in general, because I think, as far as I know, they don't hit PTMs particularly well. They need a gun to do that, and once you get to the boss, they don't help you very much, because they can shoot down something before your other ships attack, but that's really about it. Going around the bottom side, you'll be taking battleships, you'll be taking carriers who have air power. You probably need more than 1 carrier to actually reach AS+. That's a complete win-in-the-air battle, so that your accuracy and evasion are greatly increased. But you probably get at least a AS, so you will have the double attacks. You will have cut-ins, I believe, but the enemy can have contact, so the accuracy can be increased. You don't need an anti-air cut-in if you're going around the bottom. That should be okay as long as you have plane power. And then, okay, so that would be that, and then drops. I guess the main things are already noted here. Notable drops. Amagi, on the boss node, you can get her at easy, and then Akizuki, who's on N and M node, which is basically the 2 nodes before the boss. For the most part, those 2 nodes are PT imps, so if you want to kill them all, you'll probably have to bring a fleet more dedicated to it if you, on the off chance, can't kill them all. Excuse me. But I think that will be